All right, today we're going to talk about divisibility patterns and what these are. They are shortcuts, and if you memorize them, you're going to save a lot of time when you're multiplying, dividing, and many other things in the world of mathematics. First of all, let's talk about what it means to be divisible. When a number is divided by another number and there's no remainder, we say that the number is divisible by that smaller number. So in my example here, you can see that 392 divided by 4 equals 98. 98 is a whole number. We say that 392 is divisible by 4. Now, there are certain rules that we can memorize, and it's going to make our lives easier. And now let's go through each one. The first one is figuring out if a number is divisible by 2, and it's one of our easier shortcuts. You just have to make sure that the ones place is even. So in my example here, you can see that 1,358, it ends in an 8. That's the ones place. 8 is an even number, therefore 1,358 is evenly divisible by 2. The rule for 3 has you doing some addition, because what you need to do is you need to add up the digits of the number. So our number is 453. We're going to add those together, and that equals 12. Now, since 12 is divisible by 3, we know that 453 is also divisible by 3. So we do need to add digits to check for divisibility by 3. Now, divisibility by 4 has us doing something different. In this case, we can figure out that a number is divisible by 4 if we look at just its last two digits. So you can see that 56,320, it ends in a 20 or 20. 20 is divisible by 4, therefore 56,320 is also divisible by 4. So we just have to check those last two digits. Divisibility by 5 is one that most people are familiar with. We just have to look at the last digit, which again is going to be the ones place, and if it's a 5 or a 0, then we know that that number is divisible by 5. So 125 is divisible by 5. The rule for 6 is also pretty straightforward. If a number is divisible by 2 and 3, then it's also divisible by 6. So we know that the rule for 2 means that we're going to have to look at the ones place. In my example here, 132, that's an even number, so we know it's divisible by 2. Also, if I add up those digits, 1 plus 3 plus 2, that equals 6, and we know that 3 goes into 6 evenly. So therefore, it's divisible by 2 and 3. That means it's divisible by 6. All right, two more rules to go. The next rule is divisibility by 9. And just like we did for divisibility by 3, we have to add the digits up. Okay, so adding our digits is going to be actually a starting point when we start solving some problems. But you can see my example, 8,721. We need to add those digits together. That's what I did. They add up to 18. Now, because 18 is divisible by 9, that means that 8,721 is also divisible by 9. So that's a neat little shortcut that you should memorize. And obviously, the rule for 9 is related to the rule for 3. You have to find the sum of those digits. And then our last divisibility rule for today is divisibility by 10. And this one also pretty common. We just have to look at the last digit. If it's a 0, boom, we know that it's divisible by 10. All right, let's try some other types of problems here. Now we can see our directions. They say determine whether the number is divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10. So all of the rules that we just covered, we have to determine if the number in question is divisible by any, some, or all of those numbers. So here's our first example, 548. Because I have to check for 3 and 9, whether it's divisible by 3 or 9, my first job is to add those digits up. Adds up to 17. All right, my answers for number 1, the only two numbers that it is divisible by are 2 and 4. Okay, 2 and 4. It's an even number, and it ends in a 4-8. So 2 and 4 work, nothing else. For our second example, 129, again, I'm going to add those digits up because I need to check for divisibility by 3 and 9. Adds up to 12, so 3. It's divisible by 3. And if you look and try all the other rules, you see that none of the other ones work out. Our third example is 5,892. So of course I'm going to add those digits up. Adds up to 24. Now let's see what other numbers it's divisible by. Well, yeah, 2, it's even. It's divisible by 3 because 3 goes into 24. The last two digits, 92, that's divisible by 4. And then since 2 and 3 work, so does 6. All right, we're almost done. Stay with me here. Example 4, 76,900. Of course, I'm going to add those digits up. Adds up to 22. And now let's see what numbers this number is divisible by. 2, because it's even. 4, it ends in a 0, 0, so we can say that that's like 100. 4 goes into 100, so 4 is going to work. Ends in a 0, so 5 and 10 work. And our last example for today, what do we have here? 450,621,180. So again, we're going to have to go ahead and add our digits up. They add up to 27. And now let's see what numbers work. In fact, all of the numbers that we know a special shortcut for work for this number. All right, I'll leave you guys with the rules over here on this page. If you need to go back and watch again, that's always a good strategy. Also, using pause is a good way to view these videos. Thanks for watching.